Here begins the next tide in our tall winds of Agata, when rivers speak in tongues. Part 3, The Harp of the Dead. Chapter 1, the song that called the stormed harp, born from her mother's tomb, pulsed with river light in Kamchika's arms. Each string was a name. Each note, a truth too old for words. As she plucked a chord, clouds formed over Asianu, and from the sky descended a rain that moved upward. The villagers of Agata, far below, saw it, a waterfall falling into heaven. Yukam whispered, "You've called the old storm." And the harp replied with a low hum. From the waters below, masks rose, floating faces of the drowned, each one humming in unison. They formed a circle around their boat. A voice emerged, "Greater than, you have awakened what sleeps beneath the rain. Are you ready to remember what was lost?" Chapter 2, The Harvest of Nemesis. They journeyed deeper into the upward rain. The masks began to sing. Each song stole the wind from Yukam's chest. Each one told a different sorrow, a warrior whose name was eaten by a flood. A lover who became mist waiting for her beloved. A child who spoke too loudly and was silenced forever. Kamchika cried. The harp pulsed. The masks danced. Then the voice returned, "Greater than, your harp must be fed. Pluck the truth from your friend." She turned to Yukam. "Greater than, what haven't you told me?" Yukam closed his eyes. "Greater than, my name is not Yukam. I was sent to stop you. But I could not." He wept. She plucked a string from the harp. The note it made was his real name, Obigwa, Shadow's witness. The harp glowed. The rain stopped. They had passed the test. But now, Shadows knew her companion's betrayal. Chapter 3, The Fallen City of Qual River narrowed. Ahead stood ruins submerged beneath sapphire water. Qual, a city once ruled by river kings who spoke with the sky. The harp sang without touch. The water bubbled. Then a shape rose, 7 arms, 3 mouths, eyes carved with ancient sigils. It spoke, "Greater than, the harp belongs here. Return it, or drown." Kamchika stepped forward. "Greater than, it belongs to no one. It sings the truth." The river beast howled. A storm formed overhead. But then the harp played itself, its strings vibrating like breath. The creature froze. Then nodded. "Greater than, you speak with her blood. You may pass. But beware, not all rivers want their memories returned." And so they crossed Qual above drowned palaces, broken drums, and statues that bled. Chapter 4, The Night Without Stars. That night, they anchored at a tree that grew from stone. No moon. No stars. Only silence. Then drums sounded from beneath their boat. Boom. 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 Yukam sat upright. "Greater than, we are not alone." A shape crawled up from the water, human in shape, but with a neck like a snake and a face of cracked pottery. It hissed, "Greater than, the harp draws the nameless. They wish to feed." Suddenly, dozens more rose, whispering forgotten prayers. Kamchika gripped the harp. "Greater than, sing with me." She strummed the lament of Nwayanai, an old mourning song her father once hummed after funerals. The nameless wept. They sank back into the river, cradling their own shadows. Yukam breathed. "Greater than, you've made your voice into a weapon." She replied, "Greater than, no. A wound. The kind that bleeds truth." Chapter 5, The Return of the Shadow Fishers. But peace never lingers. The sky cracked open the next day. The shadow fishers descended again, bigger, angrier, no longer masked. Each one bore a hole where a face should be. They circled the boat. Their leader hissed, "Greater than, you unbind the stories we drowned. You wake the river from silence. You must be silenced in turn." Yukam stood between them and Kamchika. "Greater than, then I die singing." But the harp glowed fiercely. And from the river leapt the woman of water and bone, Kamchika's mother. She screamed in a language older than rain. The shadow fishers howled and melted into ash. Then her mother turned to her. Greater than, you walk the line between voice and void. Ahead lies the harp tree. There, your journey deepens. And she vanished. Chapter 6, The Tree That Breathes Stories. Days passed. Finally, they reached Igbo Yuzu, the sacred forest. In its heart grew a tree taller than sky, older than time. Instead of leaves, it bore stories, written in light, humming in wind. This was the harp tree. Nkemjika touched its bark. Visions flooded her, the beginning of rivers. The sealing of truth beneath waves. The ancient betrayal of the river folk by humans. She screamed. And from her harp rose a song no one had heard in thousands of years. The tree shook. And a door opened in its trunk. Chapter 7, The door to yesterday. The inside was vast, hollow, echoing. On its walls portraits of women like her, tongues of their generation. She saw her mother. And others, names lost to time. A voice called, greater than each tongue chooses, keep the river asleep, or wake the flood. Nkemjika stood before a pedestal. On it lay 2 seed.
Here flows the next swell of the starry winds of Agata, when rivers speak in tongue was part 4, the seed of silence. Chapter 1, the harvest of stillness. The dark seed in Nkemjika's palm pulsed not with sound, but with memory. As soon as she closed her hand around it, the world stopped moving. Birds froze mid-flight. Trees ceased to sway. Even Yukim stood still, his mouth open mid-word. Time had stilled, but Nkemjika still breathed. A voice echoed inside her bones, greater than you hold the seed of silence. Within it is the first song, the one never sung. Plant it, and rivers will speak again. Or let it rot in silence, will remain eternal. She walked through the frozen world, the harp dim in her hand. Everything listened. Even the silence. Chapter 2, the cradle beneath roots schwacked to the base of the harp tree. Its roots pulsed like veins, warm and ancient. There, in a hollow hidden in bark, sat a bowl carved of sky stone. Within it, a small nest of spider silk and ash. The cradle. She placed the seed of silence into it. And time resumed. Birds screamed. Wind howled. Yukim collapsed, gasping. Greater than, what happened? She only whispered, greater than, I planted the seed. The harp played no sound. Instead, it shimmered. And then, from the bowl, rose a tree of light, a memory tree, blooming only once in 1,000 years. From its branches hung seeds of truth. And from its trunk came a voice unlike any before, greater than, you have begun the river's rebirth. Chapter 3, the Shadow King. Far away, beyond mortal shores, a throne of bones stirred. The Shadow King, ruler of the drowned, opened his 7 mouths. Greater than, the tongue awakens. She has planted the unspoken. My silence is threatened. He called forth his children, beings of forgotten wars, orphaned names, and cursed love. Greater than, find her. Tear the heart from her soul. Bring me the seed or feed me your shame. And so began the chase of the forgotten. Chapter 4, the deep drums of Zazaz and Nkemjika and Yukim journeyed down the river, drums echoed across the waters. Not played by hands, but by the heartbeat of the river itself. Boom. 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 It was the call of Aziza, the ancient spirit of decision, whose temple lay submerged beneath shifting waters. Greater than, we must go, Nkemjika said. Greater than, that place is cursed, Yukim warned. Greater than, so am I, she replied. They dived. Beneath the river's skin, the world shimmered with blue fire. The temple of Aziza stood upside down, walls of mirror water, altars made of old grief. There, Aziza waited. A horned figure with a face made of shifting masks. Greater than, tongue of Agata, he rumbled. Do you seek to heal the river or rule it? She answered, greater than, neither. I seek to let it remember. Aziza nodded. and gave her a gift, a broken drum. Greater than this once belonged to the first griot. Fix it and it will speak the names even death forgot. Chapter 5, The Maze of Lost Songs. To fix the drum, they had to pass through Adumbara, the maze of lost songs. A place where melodies wander until they rot. Each path sang a different tune, some lured, others warned. Yukim was almost drawn into a wall that sang like his mother. But Kamjika pulled him back. At the maze's center, the broken drum pulsed. Pieces floated around it, shards of rhythm, fragments of chorus. She sang to it, not a song of power, but one of pain. Of abandonment. Of yearning. Of truth. The drum healed. And then it spoke. Greater than your path will cost blood. Kamjika nodded. Greater than then let it bleed. Chapter 6, The City That Ate Its Namithi reached Egbudike, a city whose name had been stolen centuries ago. Its people walked with blank faces. Their words came out as wind. Their stories had no roots. But when Kamjika played the restored drum, a ripple passed through them. Their eyes blinked. Their tongues twitched. A child whispered, greater than my name. Izamarchi. Others followed. One by one, the city remembered itself. From the shadows came applause. A woman made of mist stepped forward. Greater than you brought back the name. But what of the price? A mark burned on Kamjika's skin. A curse awakened. Greater than every name you return takes 1 year from your life. She said nothing. Only stared into the river. Chapter 7, The Voice of the Dry Wind. As they left the renamed city, a dry wind followed them. Not hot. Not cold. Just empty. It whispered promises. Greater than you will die forgotten. You will sing to bones. You will become a name that no one dares to speak. Yukim turned, trying to speak against it. But his voice froze in his throat. Kamjika strummed the harp, played the drum, and sang, greater than if I am forgotten, let it be for lifting others from that grave. The wind shrieked and fled, but not before leaving behind a single word carved in the sky, Igigi. A name that had not been spoken since the river was born. The name of the first silence.